you're tall, have big feet, long legs, or you've ever sat on a travel mobility scooter and felt like your knees were practically touching the handlebars, you need to see this scooter. This is the Golden Technologies LiteRider. And there's one feature on this machine that I honestly wish more mobility scooter manufacturers would copy. Look at the size of this foot deck. I've tested hundreds of mobility scooters over the years, and when it comes to usable foot space, especially on the three-wheel version, the LiteRider is in a league of its own. There's no big front wheel well taking up valuable space on either side of the deck, which means I can actually move my feet forward and stretch my legs out instead of being forced into one cramped position. And that's why I've been recommending this scooter for years to taller people, people with big feet, and anybody who simply wants more room for their legs. But here's what makes the LiteRider really interesting. You get all of this space in a scooter that still comes apart for transportation. You get an extremely comfortable double padded seat. The seat height can be adjusted. The armrests are width adjustable. The seat rotates 360 degrees. The tiller angle can be adjusted. You have a universal accessory receiver on the back, and this isn't some brand new mobility scooter that just showed up on the market. Golden Technologies has been refining the LiteRider platform for roughly 2 decades. I've personally been around these scooters for years. We've unboxed them, repaired them, taken them grocery shopping, driven them on grass, tested them outdoors, and we've even taken them fishing. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what makes the LiteRider so special. We're going to talk about the features I love, the important specifications you actually need to know, how easy it is to take apart, the differences between the 3-wheel and 4-wheel versions, and most importantly, I'm going to tell you about the things I don't like. Because as much as I like this scooter, it's not perfect. It doesn't have suspension, it only supports up to 300 pounds. And while it does come apart for transportation, there's a big difference between a scooter being easy to disassemble and every piece being easy for a senior citizen to lift. We're going to talk about that because if you've got a bad back or difficulty lifting heavy objects, it's something you absolutely need to consider before buying one. And make sure you stay until the end because we're going to put the complete specification sheets for the 3-wheel and 4-wheel LiteRider side by side on the screen. That way you can pause the video, take a picture, and compare the dimensions, speed, range, turning radius, ground clearance, component weights, and all the other specifications for yourself. And if you're watching this video specifically because you're tall, I've got something else for you. We've already made an entire video comparing what we consider some of the best mobility scooters for tall people. And this is important because while the LiteRider has an incredible amount of room, its 300-pound weight capacity means it won't work for everybody. In our tall person comparison, we show several other spacious scooters, including heavier duty options that support 400 and even 500 pounds. I'll put that video on the screen at the very end so you can watch it next. But there's one more reason to keep watching. Pay attention, because somewhere toward the end of this video, I'm going to put a hidden message on the screen. The first 50 people to spot it will gain access to an exclusive discount code that can save you big on your next purchase from Mobility Direct. So keep your eyes open. Now, if this is your first time here, I'm Sergio with Mobility Direct. We've spent years creating educational videos about mobility scooters and power wheelchairs because our goal isn't simply to sell you something. We want to help you understand these products well enough to choose the right one. And if you're currently researching mobility equipment, one of the easiest places to start is with our free Mobility Direct product catalog. Just visit mobilitydirect.com and click the green button at the top of the page that says Free Catalog, fill out the short form, and we'll send one directly to you. You can use it to compare different scooters, power wheelchairs, lift chairs, and other mobility products at your own pace. All right, let's start with what I think is the #1 reason to consider the 3-wheel LiteRider: space. And I'm not talking about storage space, I'm talking about space for you. One of the biggest complaints I hear from taller customers is that travel scooters can feel cramped. And it makes sense. Manufacturers are trying to build something small enough to maneuver through stores, fit into vehicles, and come apart for transportation, but when you shrink the scooter, you usually shrink the amount of room available for the rider too. That's where the LiteRider is different. Take a look at this floorboard. On the 3-wheel version, there aren't 2 front wheel wells taking up space on either side of your feet. That means instead of being forced to keep your feet in one narrow position, you've got this huge open area where you can reposition them and stretch your legs farther forward. If you've got big feet, that's a big deal. If you've got long legs, it's an even bigger deal. And if you have larger legs in general and simply need more room to get comfortable, this is one of the first travel-friendly scooters I would want you to sit on. But Golden didn't just give you a big floorboard and call it a day. You've also got an adjustable seat height. That's extremely important for taller riders because raising the seat can change your knee angle and give your legs a much more natural seating position. Then you've got an adjustable tiller. So instead of forcing yourself to adapt to one fixed steering position, you can change the tiller angle to find something that's more comfortable for your reach and your legs. The armrests are width adjustable too, and the seat swivels a full 360 degrees, which can make getting on and off the scooter considerably easier because you can rotate the seat to the side instead of having to step directly over the floorboard. And then there's the seat itself. This is another area where I think the LiteRider separates itself from a lot of travel scooters. Look at the padding. Golden didn't put some tiny thin seat on here just to shave a few pounds off the scooter. You get a substantial double padded seat with a padded backrest and flip up armrests. And I've spent plenty of time riding these things over the years. I've taken them grocery shopping, I've driven them around outside, I've taken them across grass, we've even gone fishing with them. That additional comfort matters when you're actually spending time on the scooter instead of riding it for 5 minutes around a showroom. Now there is an important decision you need to make. The LiteRider is available in both 3-wheel and 4-wheel configurations, and I don't think one is automatically better than the other. It depends on what you need. If maximum foot space and maneuverability are your priorities, I really like the 3-wheel version. You get that enormous open floorboard, and the 3-wheel configuration gives you an excellent turning radius, which is useful inside your home, stores, restaurants, elevators, and other tighter environments. But some people simply feel more comfortable having 4 wheels underneath them. The 4-wheel LiteRider gives you that additional point of contact with the ground, which can be preferable when stability is your bigger concern. The trade-off is right here. Those 2 front wheels need somewhere to go, so the 4-wheel version has wheel wells that take away some of the open foot space you get on the 3-wheel model. That's why I think taller customers really need to understand the difference before ordering one. And this is exactly why we make videos like this. I'm not going to tell you that the 3-wheel is better because that's the one we're showing. I'm not going to tell you the 4-wheel is better because 4-wheel sounds safer. I want you to understand the trade-off and choose the configuration that makes sense for you. Now let's talk about some numbers because all this room and comfort sounds great, but before you spend thousands of dollars on any mobility scooter, there are a few specifications you absolutely need to understand. We're going to cover the important ones right now, including speed, range, weight capacity, ground clearance, seat considerations, and portability. And remember, I'm not going to waste your time reading every number on a specification sheet. We'll put the complete 3-wheel and 4-wheel LiteRider spec sheets side by side at the end of the video so you can pause the screen and compare everything for yourself. Alright, let's talk about some actual specifications, because there are a few numbers you need to know before deciding whether the LiteRider is right for you. First, you've got a 300-pound weight capacity and a top speed of approximately 5 miles per hour. 5 miles per hour might not sound fast compared to a car, but on a mobility scooter, that's a pretty good pace. You're moving faster than the average person walks, and indoors, you'll probably turn the speed down anyway. For travel range, you're looking at approximately 12 miles per charge. Remember, advertised range is an estimate. Rider weight, terrain, hills, temperature, battery condition, and how you drive can all affect the actual distance you get. You've also got approximately 2.5 inches of ground clearance and 9-inch tires. That's one reason I've always considered the LiteRider surprisingly versatile for a travel scooter. We've driven these things on grass, taken them grocery shopping, used them outdoors, and we've even taken them fishing. But there's an important distinction. Outdoor capable does not mean off-road scooter. The LiteRider doesn't have suspension. If your primary goal is driving over rough trails, roots, rocks, deep grass, and really uneven terrain, there are better scooters for that. For normal everyday use with occasional maintained grass and relatively smooth outdoor terrain, however, I've been very impressed with it. Now here's another number that's extremely important if you're planning to transport this scooter. When disassembled, The heaviest individual piece weighs approximately 44 pounds, and that's the number I want you paying attention to, not just the total weight of the scooter, because the LiteRider is easy to disassemble. But easy to disassemble doesn't necessarily mean easy to lift. For somebody who's relatively strong, it may not be a problem, but for many senior citizens, especially somebody with a bad back, shoulder problems, or limited upper body strength, that heaviest section can still be substantial. That's one of the legitimate drawbacks of this scooter, and I want you to know about it before you buy one. Now let's talk about something equally important that doesn't show up on a traditional specification sheet. What happens if something breaks? When you purchase a new LiteRider from Mobility Direct, you get a 1-year in-home repair plan at no additional cost, in addition to Golden Technologies parts warranty. And you can choose to upgrade the in-home repair coverage for up to 3 years. We're comfortable offering that because we're extremely confident in Golden Technologies and their products. If you have an eligible failure requiring a covered repair, a technician can come to your home to perform the repair. You don't have to figure out how to transport the scooter somewhere for service. For somebody who depends on their mobility equipment, that's huge. Now, I want to be transparent. The in-home repair plan has terms, conditions, and exclusions. It's not a maintenance plan, and normal wear and tear or cosmetic damage isn't covered. Think about your car warranty. Your manufacturer doesn't replace your tires for free simply because you wore them out. Same idea here. Normal tire wear, scratches on the body panels, cosmetic seat damage, and similar wear and tear items aren't what this coverage is designed for. But when an eligible component fails and you've got a covered repair, having a technician come to your home can save you a major transportation headache. And that's why I always tell people, don't just research the scooter. Research who is going to support you after you buy it. Golden Technologies has been producing and refining the LiteRider platform for roughly 2 decades. We've sold them, tested them, repaired them, and made videos about them for years. Golden has continued improving the LiteRider rather than abandoning the platform, and just as importantly, they've built a reputation for standing behind their products with parts and warranty support. That's a major reason I'm comfortable recommending it. Now let's get back to the scooter itself, because despite the big floorboard, comfortable seat, and substantial design, this thing still comes apart for transportation. Let me show you how easy it is. First, remove the front basket, then the seat lifts straight off. Next, remove the battery pack using the built-in handle. Depending on the configuration, you've also got removable storage underneath the seat. Then you separate the rear drive section from the front frame. That's basically it. You've taken a fairly substantial mobility scooter with a comfortable seat and all this usable legroom and broken it down into individual pieces that are much easier to transport. And putting it back together is just as straightforward. Line up the front and rear sections, reconnect them, drop the battery pack back into position, reinstall the seat and basket, and you're ready to ride. But remember what I said earlier. Before buying any disassembling travel scooter, make sure you're comfortable lifting the heaviest piece. If possible, I recommend figuring that out before you buy instead of discovering it for the first time in a parking lot. Now, once you've got the LiteRider out of the vehicle and put back together, this is where I think its versatility really starts to show. We've actually lived with these products, we've serviced them, we've sold parts for them, we've taken them apart, and we've used them in the real world. For example, I once took the LiteRider grocery shopping specifically to demonstrate what everyday ownership actually looks like, and this scooter works really well for that type of use. You've got a front basket for smaller items, and you've also got additional storage options. On the back of the seat, there's a 1-inch universal accessory receiver. That's a feature I really like because it gives you options. You can use compatible accessories like a rear basket, oxygen tank holder, walker holder, cane holder, and other accessories depending on what you need. So if you're somebody who wants to take this scooter shopping, go out for the day, or carry medical equipment with you, that receiver can be extremely useful. And because the seat swivels, getting on and off at a restaurant, store, or other destination is much easier than trying to maneuver your body around a fixed seat. Then there's outdoor use. Again, I don't want anybody misunderstanding what I'm saying here. This is not a hardcore off-road mobility scooter. There's no suspension, but we've driven LiteRiders across grass and other reasonably maintained outdoor surfaces without a problem. The extra wide tires are larger than most travel scooters in its class, which is why it performs better than most other take-apart models that it competes with. I love taking this model out around lakes to do some bass fishing. And that's actually one of my favorite things about mobility scooters in general. They're not just devices for going to the doctor's office or getting from your bedroom to your kitchen. The right mobility scooter can help you go shopping, go out to eat, travel, spend time outdoors, go fishing, spend more time with friends and family. That's what these products are really supposed to do. They're supposed to help you keep doing the things you enjoy. And the LiteRider does a surprisingly good job of combining that everyday versatility with something that's still designed to be transported. But there's another reason I've trusted this particular scooter for so long. The LiteRider isn't some new model we're taking a chance on. This platform has been around for roughly 2 decades, and when you've worked in the mobility industry as long as I have, that kind of longevity tells you something, because I've watched a lot of mobility scooters come and go. And there's a reason I think the LiteRider has survived while so many others have disappeared. No mobility scooter is perfect, and with the LiteRider, I think the cons are actually few and far between. If I had to point out the biggest drawbacks, there would really only be 3. First, the 300-pound weight capacity is going to limit who can use it. Second, there's no suspension, so if you're regularly driving over rough terrain and you want the smoothest ride possible, there are better options. And third, even though the LiteRider is very easy to disassemble, the heaviest piece weighs about 44 pounds. For some people, that's no problem, but for a senior citizen with a bad back or somebody who has difficulty lifting, 44 pounds can still be a lot to pick up and put into the back of a vehicle. That's really about it. And in my opinion, the pros outweigh those cons tenfold, especially when you consider the relatively affordable price point. You're getting an extremely spacious travel scooter, a very comfortable seat, great adjustability, easy disassembly, excellent everyday versatility, and a design from a manufacturer that I trust. I think Golden really got this scooter right. Now, if you love what you've seen but you're taller, need more than 300 pounds of weight capacity, or simply want to compare some other options before making a decision, I know exactly what you should watch next. We made an entire video about the best mobility scooters for tall people. In that video, we compare several different scooters with plenty of room for taller riders, including heavier duty options supporting 400 and even 500 pounds. We're going to put that video on the screen in just a moment, so click it and continue your research with us. And before we wrap this up, I want to thank everybody who supports Mobility Direct. Because when you purchase your mobility equipment from us, you're helping us do something much bigger than simply sell scooters. Part of every sale helps fund our mission to give back. Over the years, we've been fortunate enough to give mobility equipment to people who desperately needed it, and that's something Andrew and I want to continue doing as much as possible. Every purchase helps, every subscriber helps, and every time you share one of our videos with somebody who could benefit from it, you're helping us spread the word. Our goal has always been pretty simple: help as many people as possible regain their mobility and independence, one mobility scooter at a time. So thank you for supporting our business, our YouTube channel, and our mission. Now, as promised, we're going to put the complete specification charts for the 3-wheel and 4-wheel LiteRider side by side on the screen. Take a screenshot or pause the video if you want to compare all the numbers. And if you're tall, have long legs, big feet, or need something with a higher weight capacity, don't stop here. Click the Best Mobility Scooters for Tall People video on your screen right now. I'm Sergio with Mobility Direct. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.